Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Discover New Music podcast from Full Pelt Music. Before we have a chat today with Mercutio, the usual reminders to please follow us on our social media channels at Full Pelt on Facebook, at Full Pelt Music on both Instagram and Twitter. If you're watching the video edition, please do hit subscribe on YouTube. And of course, do remember to check out our Discover New Music playlist on Spotify, where you can listen to all the bands that we have talked to in this series of podcasts, including today's guests, Mercutio, where you can check out their latest single, Playtime. Welcome everyone to the Discover New Music podcast from Full Pelt Music. Today we are joined by Ross and Fabio from the band Mercutio. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you guys for having us.
We always like to start off with a bit of a introduction for those that may not know the band. So could you tell us how you guys come together? What's the origin story for Mercutio?
We had a pretty long story before meeting Ross. Actually, we tried to do because we formed the band in Italy, but then we moved here years ago, and we tried to do something good, but then we had a few problems with the lineup. We changed. We kind of changed a little bit our style, and then at some point we decided almost to give up. So we've been like 2 years still, and then on our way we met Ross.
Yes, and that started off a new era for the band, didn't it?
Exactly. So we were about to say, okay, that's it. We tried so hard. We didn't find our way here. So but then when we met Ross, we said, well, let's give it another try, and here we are.
How did you how did you guys meet Ross? How did you join the band?
Well, I was doing a production with the producer of our band, Gianluca Cucchiara, and he's a fantastic composer, and he'd written a musical called Banara. And I was, my day job has always been, singing in musical theatre shows in the West End tour and stuff like that. And so I was playing one of the leads in his musical, and he just turned around at me one day and he was like, "Ross, you want to be in a band?" And I was like, I was like, at the time, I was already in a band, and it was all under wraps. So I was the new lead singer of Spandau Ballet at the time.
Yes.
And I was sort of like, Gianluca, I can't really commit to another band just now because I'm doing something else. I couldn't really say. But, he tickled my fancy when he said, it's a rock band and it's all original stuff. And I said to him, well, listen, I've got to do this other band because it's quite a biggie, but I'd like to work with you and see what happens. So I always kept it sort of Mercutio on the side, and then we started writing together, and the writing was so immediate when we got together, and we just straight away wrote Where the Pain Lives, and I got so excited about it that I kept Mercutio as my dirty little secret. So Mercutio was my side chick, and then basically, it became, the relationship became real. We started making babies, and those babies were shit hot rock songs. So then when shit went sour with me and Spandau, I luckily. I didn't take the management's advice, because Spandau's management tried to get me to, oh, no, don't be in another band, it's bad and stuff. But I cheated on them anyway, and so I was so lucky that I'd stuck to my guns and kept this illicit rock and roll affair alive. And then here we are now, and we've got this album that I'm so freaking proud of, and I've got some great boys in the band.
Yeah, so all the pieces come together, they all fell into place, and you guys were able to start recording your debut album with Ross. back in February of 2020. And then, and then obviously we know what happened to the world shortly after. So you guys, tell us a bit about how that recording process ended up happening around that first lockdown, and how frustrating perhaps it was for you guys to have to wait to put the album out.
For a certain point of view, it was actually, so we are all musicians, all professional musicians, so we are kind of used to write at a distance with other people. I've got artists in which I still collaborate in Italy, so we always write together through emails or through Zoom or whatever we find like useful at the moment. But so it wasn't this weird writing together but being in different places. But then at some point we had the possibility to bubble up, so that's what we did. So basically we started meeting actually after writing a few things. We actually started meeting in our houses and had the possibility to arrange all the songs together with Gianluca as well, our producer. And yeah, that was mainly the process. We started separate, but then we ended up finishing the songs all together and in the studio and mixing them. It was a long process actually, because it took like almost a year to do everything. But yeah.
And the end result was Antagonist, your debut album, which came out recently. It must obviously feel great for you guys to get that album out there. So for listeners that, again, perhaps maybe not familiar with yourselves, how would you describe the album, and also how have you found the reaction to the album?
God, how do you describe Antagonist? It's varied. It's varied. I don't think we've, you know, Mercutio, we have a sound. What that sound is you know, is an accumulation of different personalities and slightly different styles. It is what it is, but it's yeah, I guess there's a lot of storytelling in the album. I'm really quite lyrically focused, and I want to make sure that I've got an answer for every single question about any lyric, and that everything makes sense. You know, I can't sing it if it doesn't actually make sense. So I guess, you know, I just wanted to create a narrative of an antagonist's narrative. You know, there's songs like C Word, Playtime, which are very, very cheeky, childish, almost. And then sort of songs like Alex, which is a sort of a look into the grief as a child, sort of teenage grief. But seeing things from a very weird perspective, very strange perspective. So yeah, it's very off-piste conceptually, but we tie it all in with what we hope are, you know, memorable. I'm not going to use the C word. Catchy. I want memorable. There's very memorable arpeggios and riffs and takeaway chunks from the choruses that will stick in your head. But yeah, it's the great thing about writing with Fabio is that it's like a tennis match. It's literally like a tennis match, and we rally, you know, really easily, and we're not afraid to say, nah, that's shit. Nah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. But try it like this. You know, we're very honest with each other, and yeah, we never set out to make. Well, we wanted to make an album, obviously, but we never set out to make Antagonist. It just happened, and when the name came to me for the album, I was just like, that's it. It's Antagonist. It's and showing that, you know, being an antagonist ain't always a bad thing.
Yeah, You mentioned Playtime. We've added Playtime to our Discover New Music playlist over on Spotify. We've really enjoyed it. Tell us a bit about the song Playtime and the meaning behind it. You said it's a bit of a playful song.
Yeah, so I was a bit of a naughty kid in school, which you can't believe, I'm sure. But so I had at Playtime. I had a supervisor, like this girl called Francesca, and I was obsessed with her. This gorgeous 19-year-old girl who'd come and look after this naughty 7-year-old kid. I just thought she was amazing. Anyway, so I was always nice with her, but I knew how to wrap around my finger. I knew, there was I could only be good for so long until it didn't get praised. And then I knew how to whip out being a bit naughty to get, now come on, Ross, do this, do that. And I'll be like, okay. And then I get praised for being good. So I wrapped it around my finger as a kid. And the song is, it's about, it's definitely an antagonistic character in the song, and in the music video it's played by this wee kid called Oscar, who we got running around London and causing all sorts of mayhem, which was great fun. I kind of vicariously lived through him through that, but and there's a bit of a twist at the end of the video, but yeah, it's a love story. It's Playtime's a love story, and probably an unrequited love story. Well, definitely unrequited, but yeah, it's a bit of fun, and it's naughty, and it's a bit chaotic.
Yeah, and you mentioned the music video, and I believe that worked really, really well to fit the narrative of the song. Obviously, the concept must have come fairly naturally, I guess, through the meaning of the song and everything. But how did that video concept and recording come about?
Guilty. Yeah, I was just like, it was our other videos have been sort of shall we say off the cuff. We kind of, I don't know, I mean, Playtime, Where the Pain Lives was more sort of orchestrated by our management, finding really cool location, and then we utilized that location with a fantastic videographer called Andrea Gambadora. Is that right, Fabio? Yeah, he's a wonderful guy, and he just found the right shots, and then we jumped in them and played, and we had a contemporary dancer with us that did all sorts of cool stuff, Jemima, and yeah, but when this one came around, I was like, right, storyboard. I want to do the storyboard. I write script all the time. I write this sort of thing all the time. So I was like, I really want to do this from scratch, because I had such a strong idea of what it was going to be. So I wanted this kid running around London causing mayhem, and then I wanted a wall covered in crayon, and I wanted to draw all over it, and that's it's just bringing back that sort of stuff from childhood, and Oscar and me as characters in the video are kind of combined in this weird symbiotic, like parallel universe sort of way.
Gianluca and I've never seen Ross in this kind of determination mood. So we let him do everything. It was like, okay, let him do everything. And it actually turned out exactly how we wanted.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must be really pleased with the results of it. I think it works really, really well.
Yeah, it was awesome fun to shoot, and yeah, it is pretty much, you never, as a creative, you're never 100% happy with anything, but yeah, relatively, it was pretty much as I envisioned it. So yeah, so happy with it, and we were so lucky to get that window in lockdown to shoot it. When we were allowed out on the streets again. So
yeah,
so that was cool.
Because it was in Camden that day, and everyone was out. It felt unreal, because we've been locked down for a long time, and then all of a sudden we're all together in the streets shooting a video, and then a few days after it locked down again.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that we shot most of it in Camden, because you know, it's an area that means a lot to the rock and roll world, and it meant a lot to me. I mean, it was a place of pilgrimage for me as a kid. I used to come down to Camden and, you know, buy my hoodies and get all my merch and cruise back up to Aberdeen with my skater dudes and be like, yeah, check out my merch. So and I always dreamt as a kid of going to gigs there, let alone playing gigs in Camden. So, you know, anytime we play Camden or involve Camden in anything, it means a lot to me. I love the place, and I live very close, so it's very easy to get to.
Same for me. The first time I was in London, I was 16 or 17, and I just went straight to Camden to like trying to feel the rock and roll vibes from there, and I was like,
Camden is the mecca for rock and roll. Fantastic place. And speaking of, you know, playing shows and, you know, people coming back together, thankfully, you know, we're in a position where we believe we're kind of back to normality. Live music has resumed, and you guys will be hitting the road very shortly. You're going to be on a month-long tour with Inglorious. It starts September 10th at Rock City and continues across the country for a whole month. I mean, you guys must be raring to go. It must be really exciting to get back out on the roads and playing some shows and playing with Inglorious. So, you know, how are you guys feeling about that? What should fans coming early to the shows expect to see from Mercutio?
Well, as I told you before, so basically we had our album launch like a month ago, and I don't think I remember a gig in which I was so happy, because it was like such a long time after the last one, and I felt like so happy. I didn't care about anything like mistakes on stage, so we had just a few rehearsals altogether before that gig. So, but for the first time probably in my life, I wasn't afraid of anything on stage. I was just thinking I'm happy, and I think that this is the feeling that I'm gonna take with me into I'll be trying to enjoy at the fullest everywhere we go, every venue, every single person I will gonna meet. I think I'm gonna bring this feeling with me.
Sounds like you're gonna have an absolute peachy time, Fabio. I'm shitting it, mate.
So you guys have played some shows with Inglorious in the past, so you must be excited to get back on the road with those guys as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the band's led by one of my best mates, Nathan. I've known Nathan now for about 12 years, and we've done a lot of different projects together, and yeah, we've always been mates. So yeah, it was sort of a no-brainer for us to tour with Inglorious. I mean, we're very different bands, you know. We've got a very different sound, and we love the fact that when we play Inglorious gigs, their fans, like, they're colorblind, you know. They've got some colorblind fans, which are great. You know, they don't think, oh, you know, these guys aren't what we're here to see, because we do have a different sound. They are more classic rock, and we are more sort of, I don't know, I can never think of a word to describe it, but more metally. We're more, I don't know, poppy metally. I don't know what the word is. But yeah, we're different, but as I say, it's the crowds are so cool. Their crowds are amazing people who are really up for it. And so if I'm feeling scared, I go out onto the stage, and the Inglorious fans are there. They're a great crowd, and they make you feel welcome, and it's going to be good for me anyway. Like doing gigs in front of these guys, a crowd that we've played with before, we've performed in front of before, because, you know, it is after this long. I mean, you know, I'm used to being on stage all the time with my job in general, and for not being on stage for almost a year and a half, it's daunting. It's daunting, but as I say, the amazing band that we're touring with and their amazing fans will definitely you know, take us along with them.
Yeah, I can speak from experience of you know, as a fan, getting back to these shows after 18 months has been quite cathartic, and yeah, an amazing experience to get back into some packed, sweaty little rooms. You know, for fans that are going to come early and catch you guys, you know, why should they do that? What kind of prospects are Mercutio as a live band?
Well, we're more than a warm-up act, you know. We're gonna properly toast you. We're gonna toast you, and you know, we're so used to playing headline shows where the crowd, you know, has been drinking, you know, for a few hours and this, that, and the next. But when we played the last Inglorious tour, you know, we had movement in the crowd. Folk were moving, folk were commenting, folk were, you know, bopping away and having fun. And I think the only place that was a bit crap was, I don't know, maybe Oxford. Maybe that was a bit crap. Apart from that, it was like every single crowd was totally up for it. And
well, I think Oxford was also the first one we did, so we were in like, was the first gig we were doing together, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. But we're very energetic, and you know, we've got a mix of songs from sort of ballads that go epic to sort of theatricals, epic prog rock songs to poppy fast metal songs. I don't know, just come and check it out, man. It's not to be missed.
And once you guys are finished up with that tour, have you got any plans to headline some shows again end of this year or beginning of next year?
Yeah, we're gonna play for do you know the guys organizing the Camden Rocks?
Yes.
Great
event.
Yeah. So we're playing a gig on, so the only planned gig we have so far is on the 5th of November. And we're gonna play the assembly in Camden.
Yeah, great venue. Should be
it's a sort of mini festival, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's quite late in the night.
And then after that, what's the future look like for Mercutio? What are your plans, you know, going into next year?
Right now, we're talking to international promoters. We're looking at some Asia stuff, looking at America. We're talking with our PR guy Duff at the moment about you know, trying to get on some big US tours over there. Yeah, it's, you know, we want to spread it. We definitely want to spread our wings, and we want to do it soon, while things are opening up. And yeah, it's, you know, it's all about the live show. In the end of the day, yeah. It's all about the live show, and you know, that's what we want to be doing. We want to be doing the job, which is going out there and playing live gigs, and hopefully making people's ears happy and their heart.
Yeah,
heart warm.
So fans can check the band out on social media. You guys are on Instagram at Mercutio Official. You're on Facebook at Official Mercutio, and you're on Twitter at Info Mercutio. We encourage fans to check you guys out. Obviously, you can listen to Playtime on our Discover New Music playlist, but also obviously check the band out across social media and Spotify and anywhere that you can, you know, grab their music. Obviously, check you guys out on the Inglorious tour and your headline show in Camden in November. Is there anything else you guys, you know, would like to say to listeners right now that maybe, especially, you know, hearing of you for the first time?
Oh, yeah,
just come stick on the album. stick first. Get right now. Get on Spotify. Get on Apple Music, and just stick on the album while you're making your toast or whatever. Stick it on, have a listen, and judge for yourself. You know, I'm not going to ram it down your throat. I mean, I'd love to ram it down your throat, but it's not gonna.
Yeah, I'd say fans won't be disappointed if they do. Thank you guys very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoyed Antagonist, and yeah, look forward to seeing you guys out on the road. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on.
Sick, man.
See you soon, mate.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed that chat with Mercutio. Please remember to check out their recent single Playtime on our Discover New Music playlist over on Spotify. Do check them out on tour right now with Inglorious. And please, before you go, make sure you follow us on our social media channels at Full Pelt on Facebook and at Full Pelt Music on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, if you're watching the YouTube video edition of the podcast, please hit that subscribe button.